here has turned into a community dumping site. It has become one of our daily headache, one of our biggest problems.
The Kaneshie Market is a trading center in Kaneshie, Accra. It was built in the 1970s. The name Kaneshie means under the lamp, referring to its beginning as a night market. During the 2015 Accra floods, the market was submerged and operations were forced to shut down. But bouncing back to its former glory has become somewhat of a challenge. Filth here, filth there, filth everywhere. It is quite common to walk into the market center and be welcomed by a fugitive smell, but it becomes irritating when the nauseating smell is unbearable. And oftentimes than not, this putrid stench emanates from the decomposed and compiled waste that sits within the market unattended to. Now, if this disturbing development is anything to go by, then one can clearly state that the Special Sanitation Committee inaugurated in 2017 by the Accra Municipal Assembly to rid the market and business enclave of filth has woefully failed. The market used to have its dump site at Awudome Township until some disgruntled residents objected to its location without an iota of reason. After an extensive dialogue, the AMA agreed to resettle the dump site within the market temporarily. Waste bins from a contracted waste management team were provided until a permanent dump site is allocated. The AMA ran into debt with the waste company. An initial agreement to pay 30,000 Ghana cedis annually was increased by the waste company, and the AMA could not meet this new obligation. It therefore abrogated the contract according to the source and left the Kaneshie Market open to indiscriminate dumping. An arm away from my cameraman and I is this decomposed waste, and to say the stench is overpowering is an understatement. Deputy Managing Director of the Accra Marketing Limited, Kaneshie Asare Ampene, speaking to GH1 News, lamented the frustration they contend with to resolve this insanitary challenge.
Trying to confront it head on is that we just have to ensure that the sprawling spillover of the refuse does not just cover almost the whole market, and our own staff are always at post to confine them within reasonable area. But it within a short time turn into a heap of mountain because everybody within the neighborhood comes here to dump the rubbish.
Management of the Kaneshie Market tried to explain away the heaps and heaps of refuse that dot the market daily. They claim the waste is as a result of residents around the market and commuters who secretly dump the refuse in the wee hours of the day. The AMA has tried to replace the old waste company that served the Kaneshie Market. Problem is, this new one is simply not up to the task. The amount of filth at Kaneshie Market is indicative of this fact, and the Executive Secretary of the Environmental Service Providers Association, Ama Ofori Entry, could not dispute how poorly some of the waste management companies discharge their duties. Ama, in an explanation, bluntly said some of the waste companies are poorly resourced.
The onus lies on that municipality to ensure that its solid waste, liquid waste, whatever waste is managed and managed properly. They have a responsibility to ensure that they provide the basic infrastructures, which include, especially for the city, we want the city to be clean. We need transfer stations, we need holding points where we could keep the waste. We need a sorting centers. We need the waste disposal facilities.
Consumers who shop from Kaneshie have only two choices: ignore the unbearable stench and buy from Ghana's biggest market, or look for an alternative shopping center. But Kaneshie, as the biggest market, boasts of everything. All and any food item can be purchased from here, even including those who come to buy to unworthily sell. The amount of filth in the market equaled the amount of filth on the foodstuffs, and it was sad to see that the market women had to sit in the filth, be overpowered by the stench all day as they sell, and worst of all, eat in that. According to the Environmental Health and Sanitation Directorate of the Ministry of Water and Sanitation, poor sanitation cost the country $290 million annually. This cost is calculated in terms of deaths from poor sanitation, exposure to preventable diseases, and time spent looking for water and sanitary services. We could not reach the AMA in our efforts to put this report together. The AMA also has not availed itself to comment on the disturbing filth situation at the Kaneshie Market. However, some sanitation analysts are of the view that Ghana has failed to tap into over 100 policies, strategies and guidelines over water and sanitation which potentially could have kept the country clean. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Sanitation, Water and Resources, Joseph Kofi Adda, announced that the sector ministry has abandoned the previous strategic plans meant for tackling sanitation-related issues. A new $3 million initiative known as the Integrated Urban Environmental Sanitation Master Plan is now to take care of all our sanitation problems. Joshua Nana Kwame Ayura reporting.